Hello everybody and welcome to the Darlington Raceway for the 2006 Dodge Charger 400 in the 11th race of our 2006 NR2003 season. Greg Biffle starts on pole position alongside last week's winner from Richmond and your points leader, Jimmy Johnson. Behind them you have Jeff Gordon and Ryan Newman, who has swept Darlington last season, trying to go for the Darlington three-peat. As you're green and underway here at the Lady in Black, who will conquer this track that's too tough to tame? We will find out as Greg Biffle gets a great early start to this race with the jump over the 48 of Jimmy Johnson into turn 1. And Greg Biffle is already clear for the race lead here into turn 1. Behind us, Casey Kane and Tony Stewart made contact, almost causing an incident. We're very fortunate not to, but at the front it is Greg Biffle leading the way here in Darlington as he tries to establish rhythm here and get that elusive Darlington win, as he's been so fast in all these Darlington races the last couple of seasons, but has just been caught up in wrecks or other things that have just cost him the victories here at Darlington when he's had the speed. But Biffle leads the opening lap of racing here in Darlington. Now on to lap 6, Jeff Gordon, the 24, dropping back into the outside wall. Look out behind him, Dale Jr., Casey Kane, contact 3 wide. There goes the 9 of Kane into the wall. He's spinning Gordon Jr. around. Jeff Burton slams the inside wall as well, and the caution will come out for the first time today in Darlington. Gordon hits the wall. Jr. bounces off of Gordon into Casey Kane, sends Kane spinning, then Gordon comes down into Dale Jr. and destroys Jeff Burton with a hard hit to the inside wall. Jr. gets sent around, Kane goes around, Gordon and Burton involved as well. I mean, look at Jeff Burton. He goes at a hard angle to the inside wall right there. And our first big wreck of the day in Darlington strikes within the first 10 laps. See the replay up at the 9 gets turned around, and Jeff Burton's on board. Man, what an impact to that inside wall for the Richard Childress driver of Jeff Burton. Hard impact. He slams the wall. Burton, let's see what he does with Stremme and Yaley then go bouncing off the wall in turn 3. Luckily, they avoid spinning out and causing an even bigger pileup of cars. So fortunately, only those drivers of Earnhardt, Gordon, Kane, and Burton involved. So there's 4 guys in it, and Jeff Burton, the only one out of the race, and 41st. I will also count Joe Nemechek, even though for some reason he didn't start this race. I will count him as 42nd place. He's only going to get 1 point, so it really doesn't make that big of a difference. So Joe Nemechek and Jeff Burton out of the race in 42nd and 41st. As we get back underway here with Greg Biffle leading the rookie of Clint Boyer, and second, Casey Mears, Dale Jarrett, and Elliott Sadler, the top 5. Greg Biffle out front after our first big pileup of the day. Lap 21, Biffle still leading the way, and now there's trouble. Caution's out on the racetrack. A big pileup upside down goes Michael Waltrip, up spinning like a top on his roof. Bobby Labonte goes up and over. A barrel roll done by him. A huge wreck into turn 1, the big one. Strikes in Darlington. Robbie Gordon and Travis Quaffle get into it, wrecking each other into turn 1. They collect Jeremy Mayfield and Carl Edwards, and it looks like it's not going to be that bad. Then David Stremme gets wiped out. Hard head-on hit for Terry Labonte to the outside wall. Jr. gets collected. And Michael Waltrip, a massive impact to the rear end of Travis Quaffle. Mikey gets launched up and over, as does Bobby Labonte. Jeff Gordon now has huge damage. I mean, Mikey continues spinning up and over like a top, and a huge wreck here at Darlington brings out our second caution of the day. This was the huge one for sure. I mean, look at that hard impacts, and look at the flip by Michael Waltrip and Jeff Burton. Michael Waltrip goes over Terry Labonte and goes rolling past him. The 43, so both Labonte brothers completely destroyed. Then the 16 of Greg Biffle, your leader, spins himself out trying to avoid the wreck, and your leader is damaged. What a turn of events here in Darlington. The 16 is hit, and now he was your dominant car of the day, driving away with it, and now he's damaged, and all of a sudden it's anybody's game here in Darlington. Here's the tied on board with Quaffle, who just gets absolutely lit up right there by Michael Waltrip. What an impact. Now we're going to go with the Office Depot on board with Carl Edwards. So Edwards just got collected there right on the outside wall. Now we're going to go with the Kellogg's on board with Terry Labonte. Brace for impact. Hard hit to the outside wall, and we're not done. He's got cars slamming into him from behind, flipping all over him. Now the Bud on board with Dale Jr. Unlucky. Just gets collected with David Stremme. Hard right side hit to the outside wall for Earnhardt. Now DuPont on board with Jeff Gordon, who had absolutely nowhere to go here, and piles right on into the Labontes and the Waltrip and Mikey. And that is a rough look. Now on board with Bobby Labonte and the Cheerios machine. Up and over. 1 barrel roll, 2 barrel rolls, lands it on the apron. Now Napa on board with Michael Waltrip. This is going to be a wild one. A lot of static right there. The National Guard with Greg Biffle. See, he just completely loses control and pounds the outside wall. I don't believe what you see. Then watch this. When Biffle's trying to come by the racetrack, Clint Bowyer slams into him. And that's going to destroy Clint Bowyer's car as well. And that has to be the most 2006 Clint Bowyer luck I have ever seen, because his luck this season has been absolutely horrible. I mean, his bad luck is second to none. It's just unbelievable. He's out of the race, and guess what? He took Biffle down with him. So now the 16, whether the first 21 laps of this race is out via his mistake, and then Clint Bowyer's driving into him. So that's like that. They're both out. Casey Mears is leading. Also out of the race, you got a whole bunch of guys. Dave Blaney, Jeff Gordon, Michael Waltrip, Travis Quaffle, Carl Edwards, Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte. So looks like that we're down to just 31 cars now, and Casey Mears leading the Robert Yates duo of Jarrett and Sadler, continuing to do so here on lap number 28. And the caution lights are on. Caution out on the racetrack. There's trouble. Looks like the 45 of Kyle Petty got into the outside wall and spun himself around. And that is our second Petty car involved in an incident today. Kyle Petty goes around. And that brings out the yellow. Now, Elliott Sadler is taking the lead on lap 32, but he's now under fire from the 17 of Matt Kenseth, who is trying to find a way by into the race lead. In trouble. There goes Ken Schrader, spun around by Reed Sorensen in front of the pack. Kurt Busch slams into him. More big contact. Mayfield, Casey Kane, Jr., Mears, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty all involved in another big one here at Darlington. Strikes down the back straight. Schrader getting spun around. Hard head-on hit by Kurt Busch. Jeremy Mayfield launched in the air by his teammate Casey Kane. Nowhere for Mark Martin or Kyle Petty to go. They pile in. Junior also gets more damage. That's a third incident he's involved in, but both Evernham cars are completely done. And Casey Kane is definitely a close second to Clint Bowyer with bad luck this season. I mean, unbelievable. These two guys have been so fast. I've just had horrible, horrible luck. Back at the front of the field, still Elliott Sadler leading. But on lap 38, that lead's not going to last very much longer. Here comes Matt Kenseth on the inside lane, and Kenseth to the front here at Darlington. He will pass Elliott Sadler. Of course, Mayfield, Kyle Petty, Casey Kane from that last incident all out of the race. And now later the cautions come out because Dale Jr. just dumped Kevin LePage in turn 3. And spun out to 49. And that brings out the yellow for LePage getting spun by Dale Jr. Matt Kenseth still out front. Now with some different pit strategy, get back underway on lap 45. Slowly but surely working our way through stage 1. Elliott Sadler is back out front. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 now in second. Followed by Martin Truex in third as we go through turn 1 and 2 for the first time here. Sadler out front a little bit later on the stage. Reed Sorensen bounces off the wall, collects Mark Martin, sends him spinning. Scott Riggs slides into the outside wall, but very minimal damage for the 10. Mainly Mark Martin and Reed Sorensen go around here in a 3-car incident. Brings out the yellow once again here in Darlington, and one of the most chaotic first stages we've had all season. Right up there with Richmond, of course, last episode. That was also insane, the first stage in that race. Now here we are on lap 53, Ryan Newman in the Alltel Dodge, your defending series champion, restarts in the lead, looking for the Darlington 3-peat, which would be an unbelievable feat if he could pull it off. He's leading. He's got some decent speed in that car, so he's got a shot at it. And he's still leading the way here on lap 59, but then Matt Kenseth swings to the inside lane, takes advantage of Ryan Newman's mistake. Newman gets into the wall, and Matt Kenseth back out front here in Darlington. Kenseth seems to have the fastest race car out there now that Biffle is out of the race. And now here we are on the last lap of stage 1. Matt Kenseth leading the way, about to lap his teammate Mark Martin, but we're going to toss the yellow right as that's about to happen because this is the end of stage 1. Matt Kenseth wins stage 1, his first stage win of the season. Ryan Newman comes across in second. How about Robbie Gordon come through to get third place points? Denny Hamlin comes through in fourth. Fifth place will be Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick 6th, Kyle Busch 7th, Casey Mears 8th, Tony Raines in 9th, and Jimmy Johnson earns the last stage point. But it's Matt Kenseth winning stage 1 here in Darlington and what was an insanely chaotic stage for sure. Now we get back underway in the second stage here on lap 72. It is the 14 of Sterling Marlin, who is now leading the field for the very first time today. You got Ryan Newman right there behind him in second, Denny Hamlin in third. Some of your leaders a little bit further back in a bit of a danger zone back there in traffic, but Tony Stewart gets ahead of the 14 here as Stewart tries to race his way back onto the lead lap and into turn 3 and 4. Tony Stewart instantly slows down to come down pit road as Marlin goes by to hold lead. And now behind him, there's cars going over. There's a big crash behind him. There goes Kyle Busch. David Stremme also around. Stanton Barrett. But it all starts with Robbie Gordon clearing himself off Denny Hamlin, who then comes down collecting Kyle Busch, David Stremme, and Stanton Barrett. Dale Jarrett, Kevin Harvick also get minor damage from the incident, but David Stremme's got huge damage. Kyle Busch, who's been so strong so far today, also has some damage. But Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex, these other fast cars, Kenseth luckily avoid it to keep their hopes alive. And now back underway on lap 77. How about this? The rookie, Martin Truex Jr. from Mayetta, New Jersey, going to restart in the race lead, leading his first laps of the season here in Darlington. And of course, out of the race now, Stremme, Stanton Barrett, Robbie Gordon are all, well, not Robbie Gordon, but Barrett and Stremme are out. So that leaves us with just 24 cars left in this race. But Martin Truex Jr. is out front leading the way in his Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated on lap 78. So how about that? Martin Truex leading the way here in stage 2, but that does not last a very long time. About 20 laps or so later, Matt Kenseth swings to the inside. He shoots right on by to the lead. Jimmy Johnson follows him through into second. And Matt Kenseth back out front once again, continuing to dominate here in Darlington. But his biggest threat is the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, your points leader, who takes advantage on lap 110. Kenseth gets used, the lap traffic. Jimmy Johnson uses Elliott Sadler as a pick. And the 48 back to the front. Jimmy Johnson leading the way here in Darlington, trying to get his second win in a row, and a huge crash upside down is Elliott Sadler in turn 3. It starts when Scott Wimmer bounces off the wall after being pinched by Jamie McMurray, collects Sadler, who gets absolutely T-boned in the driver's side door by Sterling Marlin, a hellacious impact. Reed Sorensen also piles in. Jeff Green has heavy damage, and the chaos continues here at Darlington. Unbelievable turn of events. Jimmy Johnson was leading, but now he pitted, so Martin Truex Jr. cycles out to the race lead here on lap 133. The list of cars out of the race grows. Now we're down to just 20 cars left. As out of the race now as well, you're going to have Jeff Green out in 24th. Out in 23rd is Sterling Marlin. Elliott Sadler 22nd. Sorensen 21st. Jimmy Johnson in the wall right there through turn 1 and 2. He's able to correct himself and get back on the right path. Still be in the second or third here, but it's Martin Truex Jr. leading the way in his Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet for DEI here at Darlington. Truex out front as he tries to get his first career stage win. The cautions come out because Brian Vickers hooked Ryan Newman hard into the wall and wrecked himself pretty much, as Brian Vickers has been having a horrid year. And it just continues here at Darlington, not doing himself any favors with Mr. Hendrick for sure. And now, so caution comes out. Casey Mears now will lead his first lap of the day here on lap 138 in his Texaco Dodge for Chip Ganassi Racing. How about Kevin Harvick lurking right there in second? And now Kevin Harvick goes to the inside. Now Kevin Harvick will take the lead here in Darlington. Harvick out front for the first time today, but look who's pushing him. That's the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. We know how fast Jimmy is, as well as Kenseth, who's right there in the picture. Now Harvick moves out of the way, opening the door wide open for Jimmy Johnson, who charges on through on the bottom. They're going to be side by side, making a little bit of contact here down the front straightaway. Look out, significant contact made. Jimmy Johnson forces his way by Kevin Harvick, doing whatever it takes to get the lead. These guys don't mess around when they go for the stage win. Johnson and Kenseth quickly make their way to the front too. And then another caution came out, so we'll have another restart here on lap 156 with Matt Kenseth out front. So Kenseth restarts in the lead over Jimmy Johnson. Kenseth able to hold off Jimmy on the restart. They both clear the lap car of Tony Raines on the bottom, and out is a 1v1 duel for the stage win. Will it be Matt Kenseth or Jimmy Johnson? And it's looking increasingly more like Matt Kenseth will come through to win stage 2 here in Darlington. Jimmy Johnson comes home in second. Kyle Busch comes across here a lap down in 6th. Truex comes home 3rd. 4th place, Kevin Harvick. Casey Mears runs out your top 5. Then, of course, you have Kyle Busch, and then Tony Stewart 7th. Jamie McMurray is 7th. Robbie Gordon is 8th. Brian Vickers 9th. And Ryan Newman earns the last stage point. So Matt Kenseth dominates so far today, sweeping the stages, winning both stage 1 and 2 here in Darlington. Looking like he's well on his way to his second win of the season, and a big pile of cautions out. Tony Raines, Dale Jarrett's destroyed. Harvick is destroyed. Mark Martin's destroyed. We completely missed what happened but a huge crash takes out Harvick, who was running inside the top 5, Tony Raines, who had a top 15 going, Mark Martin, who was just surviving, and Dale Jarrett, who had a solid top 10 run going, are all out of the race from a huge wreck. Now we get back underway here on lap 201. Going to be 67 to go in this race here at Darlington. Martin Truex in the race lead, gets a great restart, and is going to clear the 25 of Brian Vickers. And now Martin Truex Jr. is out front once again, continuing to impress today here in Darlington. This is clearly his breakout performance, and a big crash in turn 3 on lap 202. Brian Vickers tried to go 3 wide, which just doesn't work here at Darlington. Gets himself wrecked and unfortunately destroys Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the process, who is just making up all those positions he had lost from all the wrecks he's been involved in. Now Junior is completely destroyed out of the race thanks to the incompetence of Brian Vickers. Once again on full display today. He's been involved in damn near every incident. And it's still Martin Truex Jr. out front here with 61 laps to go, but that may not last very long. Here comes the 17 of Matt Kenseth to the inside lane, and Kenseth gonna find his way back to the front of the field. He gets around Martin Truex, and now Matt Kenseth leads the way here in Darlington, trying to get his second win of the 2006 campaign, his first multi-win season since he won the championship back in 2002. And a caution's come out. Trouble. This time it is Ryan Newman bouncing off the wall and collecting Kyle Busch in the process. So Newman and Kyle Busch both go around. That brings out the yellow. Matt Kenseth still leading now. Casey Mears is going to restart in the lead. We got trouble behind us. Truex and Scott Wimmer. There's cars going everywhere on this restart. And now more trouble. There goes McMurray bouncing off the wall. And around goes the 26. McMurray gets bounced around between Vickers and Newman. That brings out the yellow. And now Matt Kenseth on the inside of Casey Mears here, coming to just 50 laps to go. Kenseth, can he take the lead away and try to run away and win this race? We will see Kenseth on the inside. Is going to get by Casey Mears, getting physical. What a move by Matt Kenseth. He drives his way to the race lead with just 50 to go here in Darlington, looking to win for the second time this season. It would be his first ever win here at the Lady in Black in Darlington. A white flag in the air. Final lap here in Darlington now. Matt Kenseth, there's one more restart, but he was able to beat Martin Truex on that restart and drive away. And now it is Matt Kenseth looking like he's going to win this race. Right now, Jimmy Johnson trying to hold off Martin Truex in an intense fight for second, but through 3 and 4 for the final time here at Darlington. Only 9 cars left in this race. Robbie Gordon living around out there in 4th. Matt Kenseth is going to dominate and win here in Darlington. Kenseth, his second win of the season, the 7th of his career, leading 118 laps en route to a big win here in Darlington. Jimmy Johnson will come home in second place, continuing to kill the rest of the field with his consistency. Truex comes home 3rd. Robbie Gordon is 4th. Scott Wimmer rounds out your top 5. And then Tony Stewart 6th. Kevin LePage is 7th. 8th place, you're going to have Scott Riggs, and Brian Vickers somehow finishes 9th. And then Casey Mears DNFs, but still gets a top 10, coming home in 10th. So Matt Kenseth, a huge dominating win here in Darlington, should put himself back above the Chase cut line. Definitely a statement win for the 17, showing that he's here to compete for a title. You see the final race results there on the left side of your screen. Pause and scroll if you would like. And we'll see the updated Cup Series playoff grid momentarily. Now you have your updated Cup Series chase grid, the Cup Series point standings after 11 races, 15 to go in the regular season. Jimmy Johnson now has a commanding 102-point lead over Tony Stewart for that regular season championship. Johnson looking like the clear-cut championship favorite. Kyle Busch now jumps his way up to 3rd in points after a couple of good runs. Kenseth goes all the way up from 14th to 7th in the point standings after a max points day. Casey Mears, Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle also doing very well inside of the top 10 in the points. Biffle now on the cut line, only 4 points above Dale Jr., who's on the outside looking in alongside Reed Sorensen, Jeff Burton, and Kurt Busch. So big win for Matt Kenseth, gets him back in the chase. Jimmy Johnson has a commanding points lead. And as we end this episode, as always, I'm going to give a special shout out to my channel members. So thank you very much to Brenda Breen and Jeremy Isley. I really appreciate you guys' support. It means a lot to me and helps this channel continue to grow on our road to 1,000 subscribers. We have eclipsed 900 recently, so please, those of you that are watching and are not subscribed, please do subscribe. It's completely free. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it really helps this channel out a ton. And if you want to become a channel member, link for that is in the description down below. So until the next episode, I hope you all have a good one.